Good morning. We're back with Charlie O'Hara here to answer any and all of your legal questions. It sounds like we do have a couple callers on the line.
Okay.
So you ready, Charlie?
Ready to go.
Okay. First caller, go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, what do you do when you miss your bench hearing for eviction?
All right. I think what he's asking is if you miss a bench trial is actually a trial to a judge. A jury trial is a trial to a jury. So if you miss the trial to evict you from your apartment, they will take a judgment against you and evict you. So you need to be there. I mean, the Constitution requires in any hearing that you have notice of a hearing, reasonable notice, and the opportunity to be heard. If you're not there, if you skip it, well then in a civil case, not in a criminal case, but in a civil case, if you skip it, then they can take a judgment against you and do whatever they want. In a criminal case, if you're ordered to be there, you have to be there. If you're not there, the judge will issue a warrant for you. So there are two different circumstances, two different kinds of cases. But whenever you're told to be in court, unless you have an attorney telling you not to be, you should be there because the judge needs you there. In a civil case, you're going to lose. In a criminal case, you may end up in jail. Okay?
And if something happens, you get a warning or you get a notice for that hearing and you can't make it for some reason. How do you, I mean, is that something where you need to be communicating with your employer that you need to be out, or you communicate with the courts that you've got to reschedule? How does that work?
The judge is like, I always say the judge is the boss.
Okay.
If the judge tells you to be in court, you need to be there. If you can't be there, you either need, and you're representing yourself, you need to call the judge and maybe even the other attorney and tell them you can't be there. If it's a criminal case and you have an attorney, you need to be there unless the judge lets you out of it. You have to be there. So it's a very serious thing. When a judge tells you to be in court, you need to be there.
Okay.
Okay?
Second caller, what's your question for Charlie? Caller, can you hear us?
Yes.
Go ahead with your question.
I was in a car accident, and the insurance company would not give me a settlement because they said I was on Medicare. I've never heard of that before.
Well, it could be a factor in a number of things. If you're in a car accident, there's a number of attorneys that are advertised all the time that will look at your case basically for free, evaluate it, and see if they have a cause of action. If you have something where you've been hurt and the insurance company isn't paying you and you think you deserve money, you probably ought to get a hold of an attorney. Some insurance companies are kind of notorious for not paying people. And if they can get you to not take money from them, they won't pay you. If you're on Medicare and all you have some damages and it's been paid, it may be an argument with the insurance company that you want to get into. But normally, if something happens, you probably ought to get, and it's very serious at all, you ought to get a hold of an attorney, and an attorney can help you with that.
Thank you, Charlie. We do have a third caller. Caller, what's your question?
Good morning. My question is, I had a situation. I prepaid for some furniture back in July of this year, and I went to pick up the furniture, and now that company is out of business, and no one's returning calls, and I'm wondering what I can do with that.
Well, unfortunately, that could be a real bad situation. I don't know why the company's out of business. I don't know who you paid, but if you pay somebody and then they're gone and they're not in business, you may be out your money. That's kind of a bad situation. You probably ought to actually, if it's very much, you probably ought to contact an attorney and see if an attorney has somebody that they can sue. Usually if a company's been in business, at least there's some remnant of that. If somebody owns a corporation or somebody was involved or something going on that you might have a lawsuit against it. I mean, that's a bad situation, and I would get a hold of an attorney and see if I could do something about that, because if you prepay for something and then never get it, it really leaves you in a bad spot. So I would get a hold of an attorney.
Okay. Charlie, thank you very much for coming in. That's all the time we have for today, but of course, if you have a legal question, you can always call back next week. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back with more Eyewitness News this morning.